So I turn our attention to the story now where former President Thabo Mbeki has unveiled the architectural design for his presidential library. The building will house collected works, artifacts, and will be the fountain for Africa's leaders' papers. It will include a museum as well as a research center. So to tell us more, I'm joined now by Barney Pityana from the Academy of Science South Africa. Tate Pityana, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. When one thinks of a presidential library, one's mind immediately finds reference in the United States, where presidential libraries are repositories for preserving and making available the papers, the records, collections, and other historical materials of every president of the United States. Will the Thabo Mbeki Presidential Library be the first of its kind in South Africa? And just how much of a great milestone is this one?
It's a historic effort. It is more than what the presidential libraries in the United States have been able to do and indeed mean for the people of the United States. Because we studied the presidential libraries in the United States. Almost all of them are around a particular president, the life and times and thinking and all the work that president had been doing, and is also projecting the interests of that president going forward. But this is projected in effect, it would be an African library, an African Renaissance library. It depicts, if you like, more than just President Mbeki, although President Mbeki is very central to it and his work and his life and times. But more than that, it is in fact a reflection of the ideas of President Mbeki around African Renaissance. In Africa, as far as we know, there's only one other presidential library of former President Olusegun Obasanjo of Nigeria. In scale, this is a very huge effort, and a lot of care was taken to allow this idea to depict, if you like, the Renaissance of Africa, the essence of African knowledge and knowledge systems, a deeper understanding of what it is that we as Africans, by creating our own knowledge, we can in fact give life to the African idea all over again. Yeah. And necessarily President Mbeki is central to it, but in fact already we are getting for that life essential in the creating of African ideas and African knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, we speak here about the need for us to preserve our culture, heritage, knowledge systems, and also provide an ecosystem so that indeed learning can be passed on from one generation to the next. Let's talk a little bit about the significance of leaders, right, who've walked the path, being able to preserve their legacy in institutions such as libraries. I mean, we're looking here at former President Thabo Mbeki being the first to actually initiate a presidential library in the South African context. Do you think that should be the legacy of any leader that comes into the fold and says, I want to be able to put a mark and a stamp in history, and I'm going to do that by ensuring that my knowledge, my work is also preserved in the archives of history? Should we be following suit, especially as we look at how leadership over time transcends and gets diluted when it comes to the messaging?
Faith, you said quite correctly that this is the first in South Africa. There even is there's no legislative, statutory provision for this. But we're very delighted that Minister Nathi Mthethwa, together with the President of the Republic and the Deputy President of the Republic, have embraced this idea because, in truth, it represents something new in the new South Africa, if you like. Because we haven't really, as South Africans, we haven't really created new stores of knowledge and institutions since 1994. And this is just one such that we are really creating that really comes out of the thinking and the ideas of Africans post-1994. But here is the important thing, though. President Mbeki, in many respects, is a very modest person. And the idea that he was generating, the idea, in fact, also, that's why the University of South Africa is important. The partnership with the University of South Africa is a place of scholarship, of thinking, of ideas, and of envisioning. Now, it is very, very important that this touches the hearts and the minds of every South African of all generations. It will be a hub of activity, of thinking, of participating, of dialogue, constantly by South Africans.
Yeah.
I really think that it's something, an idea whose time has come.
Yeah, I like the fact that you've managed to say then that the time for South Africa has come, and the time for us to be able to preserve our history in the form of libraries, for example. Presidential library, first of its kind, is something that we should be embarking on intentionally. Unfortunately, we have to leave it here for this evening, but thanks a lot for joining us. Barney Pityana, they're speaking about the Thabo Mbeki Presidential Libraries to be launched quite soon. Pay attention to this. You're watching South Africa Tonight on ENCA. Stay with us.